The walls go up. Nehemiah was the cupbearer to King Artaxerxes of Persia. Nehemiah heard that Jerusalem was in ruins and that his friends there were in trouble. He asked God to help them. God gave Nehemiah the courage to speak to King Artaxerxes. Nehemiah asked if he could go to Jerusalem and help them fix their walls. Nehemiah walked around Jerusalem. Things were even worse than he'd heard. Everyone worked in families and groups, fixing the gates first. They fixed the sheep gate, the fish gate, the dung gate, and the other gates. First, their enemies laughed, but as the walls grew higher, those enemies prepared to attack. So God's people worked with a tool in one hand and a sword in the other. After just 52 days, the wall was finished. Ezra the priest read God's law to the people. They promised to obey God's law and praised Him for protecting them. The house was full. Jesus was in the house, teaching and healing, and everyone wanted to see Him. Some men had a friend who could not walk. They believed that Jesus could heal him, so they carried him to the house on a mat. Because the house was so full, they couldn't get in. So they carried their friend up the steps to the flat roof and started tearing up the tiles. They opened a hole in the roof. Everyone in the house looked up, amazed. Then they lowered their friend into the middle of the crowd. They thought Jesus would heal their friend. Instead, Jesus said to him, "Your sins are forgiven." The religious leaders were very unhappy. "Only God can forgive sins," they grumbled. "What's easier," asked Jesus, "to forgive a man's sins or make him walk? To show you that I have God, pick up your mat and walk home," said Jesus. And he did. His friends cheered, and so did everyone else. Now the house was filled with praise. The religious leaders told the governor Pilate that Jesus was dangerous and wanted to be king. Pilate asked Jesus, "Is this true?" "Jesus is innocent," said Pilate. "There's no reason to kill him. I will set him free." But the crowd shouted. So Pilate had his soldiers whip Jesus. They forced a thorny crown on his head. Then they laid a wooden cross on his back and led him up a hill. There on that hill, the Roman soldiers nailed Jesus to the cross, hands and feet. Then they raised it high. Jesus hung there between two criminals. Around noon, the sky turned dark. Jesus' friends wept. The religious leaders laughed and said, "You saved other people. Why can't you save yourself?